questions before we start the test. And here are the questions. I've got 1.8, 11/9. 1.8 11/9. And yes, this is a test question. So the question says y is equal to 8th root of x. Well, we know radicals and calculus don't mix. So y is equal to x to the 1/8 power. Therefore, y prime is equal to 1/8 x to the negative 1/8. I'm sorry, minus 8/8. That's going to be negative 7/8. Sorry. And now we take the second. Y double prime is equal to negative 7/8 times 1/8 x to the negative 7/8 minus 8/8. And y double prime is going to be negative 7/64 x to the negative 15/8. You could bring that x to the negative 15/8 down, and you could say negative 7/64 x to the 15/8. And you could turn that into a radical exponent over index, which would be the 8th root of x to the 15th. This is a mess. I don't know how far they're going to take it. That's why I'm saying it's a mess. Which would be negative 7/64, 8th root of 15. I'm sorry, x to the 15th. Sorry. And you could argue 8, let's see, that's x to the 15th, that'll leave what, 7? So negative 7/64x times the 8th root of x to the 7th power. Square root of x, square root of x. You could go one step further, and that would be negative 7, the 8th root of x over 64x squared. Now I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that you could write the second derivative any one of these ways. Did anybody remember on this problem how they wrote it? You could write any one of those ways. I just rationalized the denominator here. Let's see what they did. I'm trying to get there. Hold on. I'm just going to type in 3. All right, which one did they do? Let's see.
I think it was the first one that you did.
Yeah, they just did this one. So you need to make a note on this one that all they want is the negative exponent. They just want that right there. And don't forget that this is the first derivative right here. Okay. So that's a good test question, short and sweet. I drew it out because I didn't know what they wanted for an answer, so I just was showing you that you could write it 4 or 5 different ways. Next question. 18, 1.8, 34, 18. 1.8, 34, 18. 1.8, 34/18. Find the fourth derivative. Okay, t of n, f of x. I'm going to write it f of x. That's what we're used to. F of x is equal to 2x to the negative 1/2, 2x to the negative 1/2, plus 3n, 3x to the 3/2. All right, I want you to take a minute and see how far you can go. We're gonna go with negative exponents. Let's go with negative exponents, and let's not try to simplify, because I don't think they're wanting you to simplify the answer. So we're just going to go with the first derivative we get, and we're going to put that fourth derivative in the block and see if it takes it. So go ahead and do the first, second, third derivative, fourth derivative. Go ahead. Oops. Mr. Nininger, I never knew that. I wonder if you could do something like that on does anybody know if you can mute yourself on Teams with a single? There it is, mute, Control-Shift-M. There it is right there, Control-Shift-M. Control-Shift-M. I just unmuted myself. So it's Control-Shift-M. Mr. Nininger, did you see that? Control-Shift-M, all at the same time. Mr. Ingram, can you mute yourself? Is Porter, say Porter, I have no idea. Is that masculine or feminine? And nobody's going to talk, so I'm going to mute him.
She's a girl.
Okay. Miss Ingram. I don't know what I'm going to do with these first names. I can't get them right. I'm sorry. I actually know somebody that's named Porter, and Porter is a guy. So that's why I didn't know. Oh, well. It's, you know what it is? It's them damn Russians. That's what it is. All right, here we go. F prime of x equals negative 1/2 times 2 x to the negative 1/2 minus 2/2 plus 3/2 times 3 x to the 3/2 minus 2/2. Now I'm writing everything out for y'all. Why am I writing everything out for y'all? Because we're dealing with what here? What are we dealing with here?
Fractions.
And what do y'all suck at?
Fractions.
Yep. So that's why I'm writing everything out
I feel
for
insulted. I'm great at fractions, you know.
What'd you say?
Fractions are easy. You don't have to
offend
multiply
you?
decimals. Just multiply
sorry.
top and bottom, stuff like that. Add them together, dude. I'll
I'm
have fun with
just-
fractions.
I'm sorry. Did I offend you?
I was offended. I'm a little bit of a snowflake now. So. Yeah,
Mr. Barry, I've been teaching for 25 years, and you're the first person that says that you love fractions. Oh well, you meet one every now and then that loves fractions. All right, Masalama. All right, so I'm going to condense this down. So that's going to be f prime of x is equal to -1 x to the -3/2 plus 9/2 x to the what? To the 1/2. Now, the only thing I would do to clean this up is drop the -1 and just put negative. So f prime of x is equal to -x to the -3/2 plus 9/2 x to the 1/2. That's your first derivative. Now let's go for the second derivative. I'm going to do the second derivative in another color just to freak y'all out. F double prime of x is equal to -3/2 times -1 x to the -3/2 minus 2/2 plus.
Would it be positive 3/2?
Well, right here, this would be -3/2 right here.
But times the -1?
I haven't done it yet.
Oh, sorry.
Give me time, Mr. Palmer. Can I be in charge of the class, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to do that next step. But I appreciate you following along and interacting, Mr. Palmer. All right. Unlike Mr. Barry, who wants to fuss and complain all the time. All right. 1/2 times 9/2 x to the 1/2 minus 2/2. As Mr. Palmer said, that's going to be 3/2 x to the -5/2 plus 9/4 x to the what? -1/2. Now, as I said, I'm going to keep everything as far as negative exponents because in the last couple of questions we've done, they've pretty much left everything as far as negative exponents. So we're going to do the same. So go ahead and, if you haven't gotten to that point, get to that point because we're going to take the second derivative over to the next page and we're going to take the third derivative. Okay. So f double prime of x is equal to 3/2 x to the -5/2 plus 9/4 x to the -1/2. Did I tell y'all about Masalama? Did I? Yes or no?
No, you didn't. So when you say it, it kind of confuses me.
Okay. Well, you know how I asked y'all when we were in algebra, which way do we read, left to right?
Yeah.
And I say, unless you're from the Middle East, and then I say Masalama.
Oh, okay,
I had somebody complain to my department head that I was being offensive to Middle Eastern people. And my department head said, well, what does Masalama mean? Because she's Lebanese, part Lebanese. And she said, she asked the person, she said, I asked her what it meant because I didn't know what it meant. And she's Lebanese and part Lebanese. And the person said, I don't know what it means. And my department head said, well, how do you know it's offensive? He said Middle East. So now when you say Middle East, that means you're being offensive. Masalama means go in peace. That's what masalama means. Or walk in peace. If anybody wants to correct me, I don't know the perfect definition of it, but it's along the lines of walk in peace or go in peace. That's what masalama means. So I just thought y'all'd like to know what masalama means. Here we go. F. Let's go with a pink, just to kind of strain your eyes a little bit, okay? Well, no, let's go with a blue. Oh, let's go. The orange has got red in it, so we'll go with a blue. So if you're going to complain about me, at least know what you're complaining about, okay? F triple prime of x is going to be equal to -5/2 times 3/2 x to the -5/2 minus 2/2 plus -1/2 times 9/4 x to the -1/2 minus 2/2. Now I use the light blue because the dark blue, when it comes across on the, looks kind of black. So that's why I don't use the dark blue. So F triple prime of x is equal to -15/4 x to the -7/2 minus 9/8 x to the -3/2. All right, now I want y'all to finish it. If you haven't finished it yet, go ahead and do the fourth derivative. And I've got to find another color. I know, I'll use one of my new. I've got silver and gold colors. I know, I'm a dork. Is this a question? Is this a test question? Yeah, I like to punish y'all. I don't really know. I usually go to the first and second. I probably would not pick a fourth, but I might pick a third. Third is about as high as I'll go. F fourth prime of x. Does that look silver to y'all? I could go with the copper or the bronze. I don't know if you need to tell the difference. All right, so -7/2 times -15/4 x to the -7/2 minus 2/2. I'm going to drop down a level because I'm going to run out of room over here. So that's going to be -3/2 times -9/8 x to the -3/2 minus 2/2. Phew, that marker stinks. F to the fourth prime of x, and you don't have to put those 4. You can put an F to the 4 right there if you wanted to. Oh me, that's going to be what, 27/16? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Y'all help me out. 105/8 x to the -9/2
Yeah, that's what I got.
plus 27/16.
Yeah, to the 5/2.
5/2.
Yeah.
Now, let's just check and see, because that's what I got for the fourth derivative. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, why do you need to take all these derivatives? Mathematically, in different areas, science, economics, these derivatives will all tell you something different in the field that you're going into. Now, my field is limited in mathematics, but I do know that the first and the second derivative are the most important in physics. Gives you the normal vector and the tangent vector. In physics, it also gives you the speed and the acceleration. In economics, it gives you the inflection points and the increasing and decreasing values. So, you know, it gives you different things. And of course, the third and fourth derivative is just more of the same. It gives you more as you go deeper into those areas. So let's see if we got it right. Let's go to our handy dandy. And I'm not typing in all that stuff. I'm just going to type a 3 in and drop my pen. Okay, 105 over 8 to the -9 halves plus 27 over 16. It's a miracle. So you can do calculus. You just got to be what? Y'all look at what I did here. What can you tell me about the way I did this problem? Somebody tell me, just looking at these 2 pages, what can you tell me about the way I did this problem?
You wrote everything out?
Yes. Good job, Mr. Abdallah. I wrote everything out. That means that I did this step by what?
Step by step.
Step by step.
Some of y'all try to do it in between the blue lines of your notebook paper. I don't know why y'all try to do that. I think it's some kind of overcompensation or something, like wearing sunglasses inside or putting smokestacks on your, vehicle. I don't know, something to do with that. So you don't do it like that, you get it right. I mean, you don't do the, oh, I can do the fourth, I do it in 2 or 3 lines. Well, I didn't do it in 2 or 3 lines, and I don't have a reason to put smokestacks on my pickup truck, so I don't think you do either. You don't need to. I mean, that's step by step. It's simple as that. Okay. All right, so that's the homework questions. Now let's look at the test. Let me delete those. And Miss Holcomb and Miss Hollister, A-okay, good?
Yes, sir.
Methodical. Ooh, that's a big word. I'm going to have to look that one up. No, I know what it means. I was just being funny. All right, so let's go to our handy dandy test. I've already got it pulled up. And here is the test. Unit 1. It's due Monday, so that means you've got 5 days, close to 5 days, 5 or 6 days, 4 or 5 days, somewhere in there to do it. And preview. And there's the third derivative, so let's do that one. I'm not going to do all of them, but I'm going to do a couple of them for you because y'all mean, I care about y'all doing well. Okay, so y is equal to 1 over, y'all believe that? I don't really care about y'all. X plus 1. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it. Why am I going to rewrite it? Because it's a rational. So how am I going to rewrite it? That means I want y'all to say something. Whether it's I have no idea or I do have an idea, or, you know.
Moving everything. Moving everything to the numerator. So
Exactly. So this is to the
changing
first
it to
power.
a radical.
So if that is to the first power, what am I going to do to that bottom? I'm going to move it up, and that's going to be y is equal to 1 times x plus 1 to the what? Negative 1. Now I'm going to take the derivative. Negative 1 times 1 x plus 1 to the negative 1 minus 1. And what is the derivative of what's inside? Well, luckily it's just 1, so I'm going to highlight, because with the chain rule, I have to highlight. I got to remember that what's inside, I've got to take the derivative of that number, or of that term. And of course, the derivative of x is 1, so that's not a big deal. So, what's negative 1 times 1 times 1? Negative 1, Hubert. That's right, class. X plus 1 to the what? Negative 2. So that's the first derivative. Now I want you to do the second derivative. I'll do it in another color. I'll do it in that blue. I'm giving y'all another 30, 45 seconds to do it. Of course, I can't see any of you working, so I have no idea what you're doing. So, heaven forbid I ask y'all to turn on your video, because, you know, that would be awful. Negative 2 times negative 1 times x plus 1, negative 2 minus 1, and then I've got to take my handy dandy highlighter and highlight this, because we're doing the chain rule, and the derivative of what's inside is 1. And now y double prime is equal to 2 times x plus 1, negative 3, and 1 times positive 2 is 2, so that is y double prime. Now let's do y triple prime. And we'll go with pink color again. Negative 3 times 2 x plus 1 to the negative 3 minus 1. And then, of course, I'm going to, and you're going to see me do this. Every time I do the chain rule, you're going to see me highlight this and get the derivative right there, because that is the chain rule. You take that out of the chain rule, all you got is the power rule. That's a 1. And that's going to give us triple prime is equal to negative 6 x plus 1 to the negative 4th power. And 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. Now, since the homework and the questions we've been doing so far are leaving the negative exponent, I'm going to leave that. But I'll just do this if you want to. Y triple prime is equal to negative 6 over x plus 1 to the 4th power. So I'm going to write it with the negative exponent to see if the test will take it. So that will answer your question on which one to type in. So here we go. Oh, now that's smart. They give you a multiple choice. Good. So which one is it? Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? Oops, I'm
Delta.
sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't call it. Those are terrorist words. I shouldn't. Let's go with what's something fruity I can apricot, buttercup, what do I call C?
Cupcake.
Cupcake.
Oh, cranberry.
Cranberry or cupcake, and D
I thought she said
is
fruits.
what?
I thought she said you were doing fruits.
Well, it doesn't matter. I got to do something that's not offensive since I'm a veteran. I'm a terrorist. So I can't use Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. So I've got to use apricot, buttercup, cupcake, and what would D be? Dingo? Dandelion. Dandelion. There you go. All right. So, since we're going to cancel out cartoons, I might as well cancel out terroristic veteran talk. All right. Which is, which one is it?
It's
Okay,
D.
nobody's going to talk to me. I believe it's Delta, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yay, we got number 1 right. Let's go to number 2. All right. Use the product rule to find the derivative. Find the derivative by multiplying the expressions first. Okay, they want you to do calculus first, then they want you to do algebra first. So go ahead and do calculus first. Use the product rule, and then down here you're going to use algebra first. You're going to use your dang old distributive law. So I'll do both. Dang old Dr. Seuss, dang old offensive, dang old Cardi B everybody loves. All right.
Hubert, do you listen to Cardi B?
No, I just think it's ridiculous that they're canceling out Dr. Seuss and the little mouse that runs fast, Pepe Le Pew. But that's all right. That'll give my son more time to burn prostitutes and steal cars on, what's it called? Grand Theft Auto, and listen to Cardi B. If you don't detect what's wrong there, what I just said, there's something wrong. I mean, you're canceling out cartoons, but you're not canceling out. And so, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're going to cancel stuff, you might as well cancel all the way across the board. I think it's ridiculous. 9x to the 4th, x squared minus 6x. F of x is equal to 9x to the 4th times x squared minus 6x. And some of y'all have no earthly idea what I'm talking about. So this one, I'm going to do f prime of x. I'm going to do my calculus first. And I'm going to take first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. Okay, so 9x to the 4th. 9x to the 4th. I'm going to use my green marker. What is the derivative of x squared minus 6x?
X minus 6.
Not x, but what?
Oh,
2x minus what?
2x minus 6, yeah.
2x minus 6. Plus x squared minus 6x. Somebody give me the derivative of 9x to the 4th. Appreciate it. Thanks for the interaction, people. Appreciate it. Now, once you've done the calculus, what's left?
Algebra.
Yep. So 9 times 2 is 18. X to the 4th times x is x to the 5th. 9 times 6 is what? It's 4. X to the 4th. 36 times 1 is 36. X to the 2nd times x to the 3rd is x to the 5th. Minus 6 times 6, let's see, that's going to be what? 216. Somebody check my math. Six times
That's right.
36. Is it 216? Y'all check me. I'll do it in my head. I'm kind of in there, out there. X to the 4th. What's 18 plus 36? Dang old 54? Y'all check me. Minus dang old 270. And I'm not going to worry about it because we're going to do the opposite over here, and I should get the same answer. So y'all check my math. 54 and 216, does that give us 270? Okay, thank y'all.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, 9 times 1 is 9. X to the 6th minus 54 x to the 5th. Y'all check me. I believe that's right. 4 plus 2 and 4 plus 1. Yeah. And that's going to be 6 times 9 x to the 6 minus 1 minus, I have no idea. Well, I believe that's 270, but 5 times 54 x to the 5th minus 1. 54 x to the 5th minus 270 x to the 4th. It's a miracle. Should they equal? Yes. Now, since I have equals, I'm not going to type that answer in because I know that's right. Because I doubt very seriously I'm going to do two different ways and get the same answer and it be wrong. Okay, so I know that one's right, so we're going to keep on going. I'm not going to fill all that out. Y'all can fill that out. Next. All right. Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding. I gave y'all one this easy. I need to take these off. What's the derivative of any constant?
0.
Somebody will get that wrong. If you get that one wrong, don't what? Don't tell anybody. All right, differentiate. This is the chain rule. Chain rule. Y is equal to 18 minus x to the 76th power. I believe we just need to take one derivative, right? Yeah. Y prime is equal to 76, technically times 1, and 18, sorry, 18 minus x to the 76 minus 1. Y prime is equal to 76, 18 minus x, 75, and I forgot to highlight the inside. And what is the derivative of negative x? -1, Hubert. And that changes everything. So y prime is equal to -76, 18 minus x to the 75th power. -76 parentheses 18 minus x, close parentheses, shift up to the 75th power, and we should feel good about ourselves. I guarantee you one of y'all got 76 positive, but you don't have to say anything. That's okay, because we're going to make fun of you if you do. Next, Mr. Abdallah, come on, you're typing, man. All right, try this one. Differentiate means take the first derivative. And somebody's incoming message came in also. So f of x is equal to 4x plus 3 over x minus 2 raised to the what? 4th power. Is this a nested problem? Yes or no? What does nested mean? That means I want y'all to tell me. I don't want y'all to be quiet. What does a nested problem mean?
I have no clue.
I mean, there's a lot of work.
Means that you've got one property inside another property. That's called nested. Somebody tell me what property is in this chain rule. What other rule is in this chain rule?
Is it quotient rule?
Quotient rule. So you have the quotient rule inside the chain rule. So that means you're probably not going to do it. You're going to skip it because it has to do with doing a lot of work. Denominator
Priority 1 message
times numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime over denominator squared. All right, get to work. I'll do the 4 times 1 for you. That's 4. I'll even do this part for you. 4x plus 3 over x minus 2. And I'll do this for you. 4 minus 1 is 3. Now you do this part. You're welcome.
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
I'll show y'all something. This is why I worry about y'all. This is why I worry about y'all, because, you know, y'all eat Tide Pods and y'all sit around and you drink and you try to drink something that's on fire that's alcoholic. So,
Is this video real?
yeah, it's real.
Oh my God.
It's real dumbasses. Yeah.
For real.
These are the same people that drink Tide Pods and want to start a revolution. Hell, they ain't got sense enough to start a lawnmower, much less start a revolution. Hubert, you've done some stupid things. Yeah, I've done some stupid things, but nothing that stupid. I ain't never. You're supposed to blow the flame out before you drink it. Anyway. Nobody's going to say a word.
That's just some stupidity, man. People are stupid.
Yep. So I worry about y'all. That's why I try to help y'all in this class, you know, with communication skills. And I'm trying to help y'all because you do come from a generation that eats Tide Pods. Okay. So, you know, you need to be, you know, try to do everything you can to get rid of that stereotype. Okay, here we go. So x minus 2 times, what is the derivative of 4x plus 3? 4, Hubert. Thank you, class. Minus brackets 4x plus 3. And somebody tell me the derivative of x minus 2. 1, Hubert.
1.
Thank you. All that over x minus 2 quantity squared. Now I'm going to rewrite this, but I'm going to bring that 1, I'm going to bring it out here. And if that was a negative 2, if that was a 2, you'd bring it out here. If it was a negative 2, you'd bring it out here, and that would change it to a positive 2. So I'm going to show that step just so you can get used to doing it, because it does help out later on. So I'm going to rewrite as 4x plus 3 over x minus 2 raised to the third power. And then I'm going to do 4 times x minus 2 minus 1 times 4x plus 3 over x minus 2 quantity squared. Equals 4 times 4x, plus 3 over x minus 2 to the third power. 4x minus 8 minus 4x minus 3 over x minus 2 quantity squared. And what happens to the 4x's? They cancel. And that's going to leave us with 4 times 4x plus 3 over x minus 2 to the third power times negative what? 11 over x minus 2 to the second power. And I'm going to say that's probably as far as you're going to go. You're not adding or subtracting, you're multiplying here. So you could, if this was to the first power, you could multiply these, but since that's to the third power, that's going to be a cluster. That's going to be a cluster, and then you'd multiply it by this. That's a lot of algebra. I'm just going to say right now, that's an answer, but let's see what they tell you what to, let's see what, okay, they give you a multiple choice. So that 4, you can multiply that 4 times that negative 11. So let's look at that. They want you to do a little bit more. So I'm going to take that 4 and I'm going to multiply that 4 times that negative 11, because it's to the first power. I can do that. I can't do it here because that's to the third. So I'm going to get 4 times 11. That's negative 44. And you could multiply it by this. 44 over x minus 2 quantity squared times 4x plus 3 over x minus 2 to the third power. I would say they may have done something like this. So let's see which one they did. Okay, I would say there's that 44. I would say it's probably this one. No. Yeah, Yeah, that you could distribute that 3 right here is D. Right here, you could distribute that 3 here and here, and that would make it negative 44 times 4x plus 3 to the third over x minus 2 squared times x minus 2 to the third. You could do that. Okay. Next. I gotta keep my eye on the time because I don't want some of y'all to self-combust. Next. And the tangent to the line is 1. It says graph the function. All right. Okay, first of all, let me pull up my handy dandy whiteboard. Somebody tell me which one is not negative 4x squared. There's one that's not negative 4x squared. Which one is it?
D.
I was thinking cupcake. Why am I thinking cupcake?
I was thinking C because it's pretty wide.
Yeah, that's what I meant, cupcake. It's wide. What does 4 mean? 4 is greater than 1. So that means it's got to be skinny. So it's not. I'm going to draw a line. It's not this one. Okay, what else? Well, it says that we're looking at positive 1. So that means it's to the right side of the what? The y-axis. So which one is not on the right side of the x-axis?
Dingo.
Y-axis. Delta. I'm sorry. Dingo. Is Dingo okay? Dingo's a dog, right? Okay.
You could just say you're talking about a sorority, Hubert, not a
Okay.
anything bad.
The Tridelts.
There you go.
I know some Tridelts. All right. So
Hubert, I feel like you would be an AGR.
I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to plead the fifth. Negative 4x squared. So it's this one or this one. And I'm sorry, but I think it's Bravo. Somebody tell me why I think it's Bravo. Because this has a slope of undefined, and a slope of undefined is going to intersect. What does the tangent line never do?
It doesn't intersect.
The tangent line never intersects. And that's what we study in derivative is the tangent line. So I'm pretty much thinking it's B. As in buttercup. Okay? I can tell you right now that anytime you see a slope that's undefined with the derivative, that's going to be like OIL and gas and water. It's not going to what? It's not going to mix. So you can go ahead and take draw you a little X through that undefined tangent line, undefined line right there, because that slope can never be undefined on a derivative. All right, so that's kind of a gimme question. So don't mess that one up. Somebody oh gosh, I can't believe I gave y'all an easy one like this one. Somebody tell me what the derivative of 6x plus 5 is.
6.
Good job. You didn't say what letter it was, but that's okay. Shut up, Hubert. Population grows from initial size of 1,000 people to an amount P of T given by this formula, where T is measured in years. So X is years and y is growth. Okay? So what do they want you to do? How rapidly is the growth rate? So that means either take the first or the second derivative. Okay, that's what I think. So let's look at the first and second derivative, because the first is the rate of change and the second derivative is the growth rate. So let's go ahead and write this down. F of x is equal to 1,000 parentheses 1 plus 0.1x plus x squared. Now, you could actually do the chain rule here. And that's going to f prime of x is equal to 1 times 1,000 times 1 plus 1.1x plus x squared to the 1 minus 1 to the 0 power times, let's see, the derivative here is going to be 0.1x, I'm sorry, 0.1 plus 2x. Well, anything to the 0 power is what? What's anything to the 0 power?
1.
1. So f prime of x is equal to 1,000 times 1 times 0.1 plus 2x. So f prime of x is equal to 1,000 times 0.1 plus 2x. I'm going to show you a trick I learned in the war. What happens when you multiply a number by 1,000? What do you do with the decimal point after you count the zeros? Don't tell me that y'all gone through 12 years of school and you don't know how to multiply by 1,000.
You just move it over 3 places.
Thank you. So 1, 2, 3. 100 plus the decimals right here. 1, 2, 3. 2,000x, or 2,000x plus 100. Technically, that's your first derivative, so I think they want the first derivative because the second derivative is always 2,000. So f prime of x is equal to 2,000x plus 100, and f double prime of x is equal to 2,000, which means that I'm thinking that they want this one. They should put rate of change though, but I'm not going to argue with them. There it is. Nope, there's that one right there. Because usually the second derivative is your growth rate. You need to write that down. We did that problem the other day where we were doing the deer population. Y'all remember doing that?
Yes, sir.
And the second derivative is your growth rate. Your growth rate. First derivative is your rate of change. I'll write that down for you. This is equal to the rate of change. And what else is it? What's a simple word? Well, I just wrote it. Sorry. Rate of change is a 25-cent word for what?
Slope.
Slope. And this, the second derivative, is always equal to your growth rate. So that means 2,000 over 1. which is 2,000. Next, find the derivative of the function and evaluate the derivative at x is equal to 1. So go ahead and do that one. Maybe I need to go back and revise this test. I think I will after class. F of x. Nobody says a word.
No, Hubert, you don't need to do that.
No,
I think
forget
you
it
need
now.
I
Forget
think you
it.
need to
Forget
do
it
that how
now.
it is.
X to the third, and x is equal to 1. Well, the way I set up the test, if some of y'all don't realize it yet, is if you bang your way through the homework and you bang your way through the homework and you make hundreds on the homework by doing it like you're supposed to, what does the test seem like when you take it?
Well, it seems easy.
Exactly.
like
That's
the
the way
homework.
Technically, that's the way it's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to bang your head up against the wall with the homework and then bang your head up against the wall with the test. That's not, to me, that's not productive. All right. F prime of x
Agree.
is equal to 0 minus 3x squared. So f prime of x is equal to negative 3x squared. Therefore, f prime of 1 is equal to negative 3 times 1 squared, which should be negative 3. So it's either A or D. So it looks like negative 3x. I think that one is correct. Next. Find the derivative. Oh gosh, I can't believe I gave you 2 in a row. All right, that's going to be 8x. And what's 8 times 1? 8. All right, differentiate that one. Got 7 minutes. We got to hurry. Y is equal to the square root of x squared plus 12. What's the first thing you're going to do?
Rewrite it.
Thank you. Now use your chain rule. So y prime is equal to 1/2 times x squared plus 12, 1/2 minus 2/2. And I got to highlight my inside. And somebody tell me what the derivative of x squared is.
2x.
So y prime is equal to 2x times 1/2 times x squared plus 12 to the negative 1/2. And what happens to the 2's? They cancel, Hubert. That's right, class. Appreciate y'all interaction. x times x squared plus 12 to the negative 1/2, or x over x squared plus 12 to the 1/2, or x over the square root of x squared plus 12. X over, I'm going to try to put it in radical and see if they like it. X shift up squared, shift right, plus 12. Okay, they do like the radical, so you need to make a note on this one. So I'd go back in my notes if I were you, and I would take my handy dandy red marker and I would highlight this one. Kind of remember that at least you know the radical works in the answer. So that way you're more inclined to type it in like this versus these, but it probably will take those three. But, you know, if you know this one works, then type that one in.
Hubert, are you not putting any of your like extra credit questions on this test?
Evidently, I didn't put them in. I'll have to see if I can add them after class. The reason that, you know why they're not on here? Because evidently the last 130 class, evidently I got pissed off at them. So y'all don't make me mad. All right. Yeah, I had a 130 class. I think it was last semester, and they were just, as my daddy used to call them, yuck people. They were yuck people. That's Y-U-C-K, yuck people. They were weaned on a lemon. F of x is equal to 2/3 x to the third plus 6x squared minus 32x plus 8. Find the intervals for which f prime of x is positive. All right, so first of all, you got to find f prime of x. So f prime of x is equal to 3 times 2/3 x to the 3 minus 1 plus 2 times 6 x to the 2 minus 1. This is to the first power, and this is to the 0 power. So that's going to be minus 1 times 32 x to the 1 minus 1. And then what happens to that constant? What's the derivative of a constant? Well, if you pull that 0 out, what will it do? It's going to knock that whole thing out to 0. So that's plus 0. So that's going to give us f prime of x is equal to 2x squared plus 12x minus what? Now let me ask y'all a question. Since the beginning days of algebra, how do you find out where something is positive or negative? Or the results are positive and negative? What do you do? Set equal to
0.
0. Because what's to the left of 0? And what's to the right of 0? So if you find 0, you find the numbers that are give you negative numbers and the numbers that will give you positive numbers. So, oh my gosh, we're doing completing the square. 2x squared plus 12x minus 32 is equal to 0. 2x squared plus 12x plus blank is equal to 32 plus blank. Factor out of 2, that's x squared plus 6x plus blank is equal to 32 plus 2 times blank. Half of 6 is what?
3.
3 squared is
9.
2x plus 3, quantity squared, is equal to 32 plus 18. What's 32 plus 18? Dang old 50. Solve for x. X plus 3 is equal to positive or negative 5. X is equal to positive or negative 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. And negative 8. So 2 and negative 8 are our critical values. So we draw our number line. I'm just showing y'all the easiest way to do this. Negative 8, 0, 2. All right, pick a number, negative 7. What happens when you plug negative 7 into the original equation? What do you get? Well, negative 7, well, I'm sorry, you can plug it in here too. Negative 7 squared is what? Positive 49.
49.
Positive, that's 100, plus negative 72 is still positive, or whatever. Did I plug in negative? What did I plug in? Negative what? 7? Yeah. Negative 7 will be 100 plus negative 84, still positive, minus 32 is going to be negative. Let's plug in 0. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 12 times 0 is 0, minus 32 is going to be what? Negative. So now let's plug in 3. 3 squared is going to be positive plus positive. So 3 squared is 19, right? I mean, 3 squared is what? 9. That's 18. 18 plus 36 is what? 54. 54 minus 30 is what? Positive. So what numbers are going to give you positive results?
Anything above 2?
Thank you, ma'am. So x has got to be greater than 2. Remember when I told you that the first derivative gives you the increasing and decreasing values? There they are. A lot of people think that's pretty cool. So where is 2 to infinity? Okay, I must have done something wrong. We've got the 2 and the 8. I think you have to plug it into the original. I was going to plug it into the original. Plug it into the original, not the derivative. Plug it into the original. It's been a while since I've done that. Okay, so plug negative 7 into this function. Now you don't have to find a number. You just have to discern whether it's going to be negative or positive. So negative 7. plug -7. -7 is going to give you a negative here, which is going to give you a negative here. -7 is going to give you a 49 here, and that's going to be plus. So chances are, if you plug in -7 right here, what is that? What's -7 raised to the third power? Somebody do that in your calculator. What do you get? 343?
Yes.
Okay. And divide and multiply that by 2/3, please. 0.67. What do you get?
You said multiply?
Yeah, multiply it by 2/3. What do you get?
Negative 229.8.
-229. All right,
Yeah.
now do 6 times, well, -229 plus 300. That's going to be positive. Somebody do that. That'll be -6 times 49. What's 6 times 49?
294.
I'm sorry, what?
294.
All right, now add those two. Add that negative and that 294, whatever you said. What do you come out with?
65.
I'm sorry, what?
65.
Okay, and then -32 times 7, that's going to be -210. So that's going to be negative. So 8 is going to get -7 is okay. 0. 0 plus 0 plus 0. Okay, there's the other positive. There we go. So it should be from 8 to, from -8. Well, it's still not giving us. Oh, let me plug in 2. And plug in 2. We're going to get 8. That's going to be 16/3, which is what? 5. 5 plus, and plug in 2 here. 5 plus 24 is 29. Minus 64 is going to give us a negative. So 2 is going to give us negatives. I'm sorry, I told y'all wrong. You got to plug it into the original, not the, so negatives there and negatives here. I plugged it into the first derivative because I forgot. You got to plug it into the original, which is right here. Plug these numbers, the -7, plug it into the original, 0 and 3, and it'll give you whether it's going to be negative, positive, or negative. So our numbers should be between -8 and +2. So this is your solution set.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Sorry about that. I suck. So -8 to infinity, and it still doesn't show it. I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on a second.
Gmail.
-infinity to -8. That's negative. Well, we got it marked right, but it should be the positive. It says for the function, find the interval for which f prime of x is positive. We must have done something wrong
So is it C?
somewhere. The answer is B. And I think we've done something wrong plugging the numbers in. I'll have to do that. Let's move on and let's come back to that one. Differentiate. This is the product rule, and I'm already over. All right, I'm gonna give y'all one more. I'm gonna give y'all till Tuesday, and we'll finish going over this test, and I'll redo that question. So let me give y'all till Tuesday, and I'll also put in some of the extra credit words. Okay, some of the extra credit questions. Let me go ahead and shut down the recording. I'll give